Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to Bridging the Seen and Unseen. My name is Shane McLain. I am your host. How are you, Miss Gwen?
I'm great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Didn't you guys had a little filming that you did this past weekend too, didn't you?
Yeah, several days, and it was exhausting.
It
Yeah.
was. Did you guys have a good time? I mean, was there anything significant that you ran into? What happened?
We investigated a home that was like a empty house, and we had activity there. We were in the woods, let's call it, and we had some activity there, but um, we have to go through the evidence to honestly, it's so much to
Okay.
see
Yeah.
exactly what we had. But it was great. We got to see some really neat places, and we just had a good time, and that's
That's
best,
awesome.
you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, my wife and I we had to go to my dialysis center yesterday, and
Yeah,
because the nurses, the owners there, they were having issues there, and we did a
yeah.
small investigation. We did a clearing and cleansing, and the lady, like, she started tearing up because she could actually feel the air difference after the cleansing. So that's why we do what we do, and I'm proud that we do that.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. Well,
Hmm.
this lady you
Well,
have on tonight is very cool. I met her in person actually. She came to one of our events and she was
that
just, yeah,
I'm
down to
really
earth and
looking forward to
nice.
this,
Why don't we
because
bring her on?
yep, please do.
Introduce her. Introduce her so we can bring
Sandra
her on.
Thompson, come on.
Hey,
There she
everybody. It's like, come
is.
on down.
Hey,
You're on
how
the
are
Price is
you?
Right.
Yep,
There you
you are
go.
on. Thank you. Thank
Thanks for
you.
having
So
me
how
on.
are Oh, thanks for coming on. And just to let you know, my wife, she said Zombieland is one of her favorite movies, and you have to show us where you are in that, because I mean, what is it like? What is it like being? I mean, are there like a bunch of them there? Are you a particular one, or how does that go when you're a walker?
Okay, well, we're going to go back to Zombieland for a second. On Zombieland, do you have the DVD
Do we have the DVD?
or Blu-ray?
Yes, or
Okay.
Blu-ray?
All right. So what you got to do, I was cut from the theatrical release of it, but the deleted scene that I'm in is on there in deleted scenes. It's called Ziploc bags, and it's a very dark scene and like literally like dark, not just because it was dark and evil, but it was just a dark place that we were in. And that's the reason they decided not to go with that for the show because it's just too dark. But I take the guy down. But I was part of the Zombieland training video that all the
Oh
zombie
wow.
actors had to watch in order to be in the movie. And so that is in the behind the scenes. So go to fast forward to rule number 3 in search of Zombieland. That's the behind scenes stuff. And you'll see me making faces like this in a mirror and all this. And there was about 4 of us, including the owner of Netherworld. He was our instructor and the director was there. And so that made it to the behind the scenes. And you see me several times in that. And you see me sitting down with the director, going over things, reviewing things. And then also, they show a picture of me, very bloody. And you actually use that picture in your, when you were promoting
I
me
did
in the
here,
video.
and I have it. I have
Yeah.
it.
I
I
saw
will.
that.
That,
I saw
yeah.
that.
So that
There it
was,
is.
they showed
This
that
one.
picture of me right there. That's the picture they showed. And when they showed that picture of me, they mentioned mad cow disease and syphilis at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Wow.
I don't know of anybody else that can say that they've had been compared to mad cow disease and syphilis in one sentence. But I can.
Wow.
Now, how
Yeah,
long?
that's
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 crazy.
crazy.
That was 2 hours of makeup with 2 makeup artists, both award-winning makeup artists. The eye contacts were like tunnel vision. And
Ooh.
the director at one point, I was having a hard time seeing. Okay,
Mm.
so they had to like tug on me when they yelled action, so I'd know to go because I couldn't see them when they'd point at me. Well, at
Mhm.
one point, the guy that I was working with would not fall down when I was pulling him down. He was much bigger than I was, and so the director says, "Hey, come at me, tackle me," and I'm like, "Are you sure? I had 2 brothers." He's like, "No, no, no, I got this, I got this." So I tackled Reuben Fisher. I can actually officially say I tackled director Reuben Fisher. And he says, okay, we're not going to do it that way. So, but that was really cool. And on Zombieland, also, Abigail Breslin was there, and she had a new puppy. And I came off set looking like that. And I was like, hey, little puppy, you're so cute. And I'm like, hi, Abby. Hi, nice to meet you. She'll never remember me. But as I walked away, I was like, the dog could have bit me, but the dog looks inside. Dogs look on the inside. They don't pay attention to the outside. So
That's true.
Yeah, but then if that dog would have bit you, you would have had mad dog disease,
probably because I was compared to mad cow disease. So that would have been
right?
one more thing added.
Right. Your eyes would have changed, and you would have started barking.
I know. It would have been crazy.
Mm-mm. Well, it's awesome. And so when they approached you for that, did you? I mean, were you already doing? Didn't you also do The Walking Dead also?
That's mainly what that's what this is from right here
Okay, I
behind
have to
me.
show you. This is the same one, I think.
Now, well, it's the
Oh
same
yeah.
day. Yeah, it's the same day that I do the photo shoot. But yeah, that's one of the promo photos. They used me
So
as not only in the show, but I was also a promotional model for The Walking Dead. I'm one of the most seen in the world for promotion of The Walking Dead. I've been on magazine covers worldwide,
And I look.
DVDs.
Well, shoot, I thought I had that. Look, it's oh man, hold on. I'll get it. I'll grab it.
Yeah, they referred to me as one of the cover zombies.
cover
So
zombies. That's awesome.
yeah,
So did you work with Santiago Cirillo too?
he and I met later on. He was not. I was not in the scenes with him, so it was later on that we met. But he and I are dear friends. But I've done a lot more than just zombie work. I've been in film and TV since 2007,
Mm.
and so I've actually been in
That's
a
some of
lot of
them,
different
right?
movies. I've starred in a few movies. I've co-starred in movies. Um, I'm about to be in a movie with Santiago. Well, actually, a TV series. And the director on that, I was in a movie called Lava All Saints Eve, and I co-starred in that. Worked 3 months up in Tennessee on that near Nashville, and I played a ex-military person, and my husband and I in that movie. Not I'm not married anymore, but he and I we ended up trying to save everybody, So
Mm.
anyway, it was a darn good movie. I think it's on Amazon Prime, and I think you can stream it on. You might be on Tubi now. I'm not sure, um, but I did that. But I've done movies with Billy Baldwin. The Lost Day is on Tubi, and as far as I know, it's still on Tubi right now. You can watch it for free, but it's got Billy Baldwin, Danny Trejo, and John James from Dynasty, the original Dynasty. Um,
Mm.
it's got Scott Hamm from General Hospital, and Johnny Alonso from One Tree Hill and Dawson's Creek. So it's got a lot of different names in that, and I enjoyed working with them. We filmed that up in Greenville, South Carolina. Um, but uh, but yeah, didn't mean to get off the Walker stuff, but that I have done
Oh
a lot
no,
of
that's
stuff over the
perfect. I,
years.
I
So,
I kind of jumped ahead anyway because I was going to get you to tell everybody about yourself first, but we kind of jumped into what you were doing. Yeah, she said she worked with a guy in One Tree Hill.
Johnny
Yeah, my
Alonso,
wife, Johnny Alonso.
you gotta look him up.
Yeah, that's still one of her all-time favorite shows. But can you tell us about yourself? I mean, just start like where you got out of school or whatever, and how you actually got into to doing this.
Yeah, sure. I'll do it like a dating site. Hi, my name is Sonya Thompson. I'm 55 years old. I like the color blue. No, I'm just kidding. Um, um, I back when I actually started my very first um stage thing I was in. I was 5 years old. I played an angel because I went to a Methodist kindergarten. I
Mm.
was raised Baptist though, but I went to a Methodist kindergarten. My grandparents were Methodist. Um, and I loved it, And throughout school, I was in advanced chorus, I was in a trio. I did certain plays in school, and I even modeled back when I was in high school. But I had a daughter at the age of 19. My ex left me, so I ended up being a single mother, and so I had to kind of put a lot of things on hold. I did do a little bit of modeling in my 20s and audition for a few things, but it was either, take care of my daughter or pursue the career in modeling, and I put it on hold to raise her, and I didn't get child support or anything like that. So I was a real single mother. I was not these that their ex-husbands get the kid every other weekend.
Mm.
Um, so anyway, I when my daughter is a brilliant actress and singer and dancer. She actually
Your
dances with
daughter
a
now? Yeah.
dance, and so is my granddaughter. But
Hmm.
it wasn't until my daughter's senior year of high school that one of my friends was like, "Hey, we're filming on this movie over in Athens, Georgia." And I said, "Well, can I bring my daughter? I want her to see that side of things." And she was a senior in high school. And so we got there that we were told to dress like we were going to a semi-formal wedding. And so we get there and they put us in front of the camera immediately, and we're hanging out with Catherine oh my God, forgot Catherine's last name. Anyway, she was on 90210, and
Mm.
Christian Kane, and um, Desmond Harrington from Ghost Ship, Sonny Mabry from Snakes on a Plane, Barry Corbin, all these people. And it was just like, oh my God, these people have done cool stuff, and we're right here with
Hmm.
them. And I worked like 4 nights in a row on that, and my daughter actually worked a fifth night because I was working during the day and doing that at night. And the production company thought I had been doing this for a long time, so they started calling me, and I started getting on more and more movies. So I started out as a background actor, and I said, well, this would be a good way for me to get back into my modeling. And but I've gotten more into the acting than I have the modeling, but I've done a lot of great modeling roles and, projects and stuff as well over the past, gosh, since 2007. I've done a lot, but I've been in web series, I've done acting, I've done print modeling, commercial modeling, just I've done commercials, you know, TV, movies, all this kind of stuff. So, um, it's just I auditioned for a role on a new NBC show this about a month ago, but I don't think I got it because I haven't heard from 'em. So I'm thinking if I haven't heard by now, then I didn't get the role. But just getting the audition was a big deal. Last year, I worked on the new NBC. Well, it was a promo video for the new NBC Peacock TV show called Teacup,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
so that was really cool. That was a pretty big deal last year that I did, and I did a military commercial last year. I mean, I'm not doing as much because right now I'm caught in this really weird age. I'm 55. I don't look 55.
No, you
So
No,
don't.
when
you
they
don't.
mean 50, 50 would say 50 and up people. I don't look my age.
No.
And then when they want people up to like the age of 45, well, guess what? I don't look 45 either. I look between like 46 and 49, maybe 50, but it's just so I'm in a weird age gap. So I don't get as many auditions, but I do have a movie down in Dothan, Alabama, I'm going to be working on. Um, I've read the script for it. I'm just waiting for things to, come about for that. It's just a little short. And then also a part of Santiago's back, I think it's Back from the Dead. And it's a episodic series that it's really cool because the audience will get to, it's interactive, so they can tell us how they want things, what's going to happen next.
Oh,
So
cool.
they'll be able to give us feedback on everything. So we're raising money right now for that. We've got a GoFundMe for that. So you can, Santiago's been putting it all over his site. If you want to add that, that would be
Yeah.
great
Yeah,
because
I
I mean,
will.
we're trying to raise money for that right now. So I'm just putting that, plug in. I know he'll be proud of me for plugging it.
Yeah,
So there
we
you go.
absolutely want to help. We absolutely want to
That's right.
promote that. That's amazing because I know Santiago Cirillo also. He's he's uh, he is a good friend of mine's, really good friend, and they work together a lot on shows. He's part of the Hi-Ya Nation.
Yep, yep,
Hmm.
yep.
Are
He's a
you going to
So,
good
be a
guy.
part of their new him and is it Denise? I'm sorry, Denise. Their movie about the children. Have you heard about
I'm
that
not
one?
in that. I'm only in the Back from the Dead series. I'm starring in that
Gotcha.
with Oscar Rodriguez and Santiago, and then Rick
Oh,
Prince. He's directing it, and I co-starred in a movie that he did a few years back called Law of All Saints Eve. I think I've already mentioned that, but
yes.
it's Rick is just. I've worked with Rick several times. He hired me to do some zombie makeup at a little gig in Nashville at one point. So he's done my makeup before. He's directed me. I've worked with him several times. He is a phenomenal director. He's a phenomenal makeup artist. He was on a Sci-Fi Space Off. So I've
Mm,
only got good things to say about Rick Prince.
that's awesome. Now, when you guys, of course, they got these horror cons and things like that. And I mean, I'm sure the cast from, Walking Dead and all that shows up there. Do they have you guys too? Do they have you zombie it out and go and like
Uh,
walk around or do anything like
it,
that?
if somebody wants me to be, I've been on the convention circuit since 2010. I started with Wizard World. Um, but if somebody wants me in zombie makeup, I actually charge a hefty
Mm,
fee for that, and it's only for 2 hours. So if they want me to come like that, then they've got to pay me, and I'm only going to do it for 2 hours. It's very hard work, and I am getting older. I've got arthritis, so trying to do that I just don't like wearing the makeup for long periods of time. On the show, on The Walking Dead,
and those movements too. That jagged kind of moving that you do.
yeah. When I got the audition for Zombieland, I was in the waiting room, and there was these professional dancers there because they wanted people that could dance. Well, I used to be a break dancer back in the day, and
Uh-oh.
so I back in the 80s, and so I could spin around, do all that stuff. I can't do that no more, but I can still walk and pop and all that, and I can still do the moonwalk. But it was kind of cool being in the same class as these professional dancers, and so that was a cool audition. And the director was very impressed with my audition, and that's the reason he brought me on for the training video for that. Um, on The Walking Dead, the same casting company that had gotten me the role, well, the audition for Zombieland, I got myself the role. Um, they sent me an email and says, "Hey, you've been chosen to be a walker on the Walking Dead TV series."
That's
And
awesome.
so I knew nothing about the comic books that it was based on or anything, so I investigated that. Um, but we had zombie school for The Walking Dead,
Zombie
and
school.
yeah, and that was like one huge audition because they wanted to
Mm.
see who was going to follow direction, who could do the moves, who could be a good zombie, who would listen. And I was one of they only chose 20 hero zombies, and everybody else was either a featured extra background or deep background person. I was one of those what they called a hero zombie, one of the main zombies, and we got sized for eye contacts and all that kind of stuff, and they were full on scleros. Um, but and then out of that 20 is what they chose. They chose 8 or 9 of us then to be promotional models for the show.
That's
So I
that's
don't know if I steered
see.
off your question or not. If I did, I apologize.
No, that was perfect. That's perfect because that gives an idea, because everybody sees all these backgrounds, especially like with zombie movies and stuff like that. Let me ask you this. How was it for you? Because I've met this person I'm about to ask you about, and I met him under some weird circumstances, but I did meet him. Woody Harrelson. I met him out in Colorado. And Zombieland was probably one of my favorite movies with him
Hmm.
outside of White Man Can't Jump. Now, when he did White Man Can't Jump, he had a lot of flack behind that. And I heard different things from people about him on that movie, but then I
Mhm.
heard different things with him on Zombieland. So how was it working with Woody Harrelson?
Well, I did not get to work with Woody. He
Mm,
was in the makeup trailer behind my trailer, and I guess he probably had a trailer in behind. I had a when I wasn't in makeup, I had a trailer that had a star on it, which was really cool. But while I was held up in there and stuff, waiting for my scene to, you know, be shot, waiting for him to come get me.
mm.
Um, he was there, but I never got to meet him. The only person I got to meet was Abigail, and she will never ever remember me because I look like that picture that you guys showed. So
He's Woody Harrelson is a real big cannabis activist.
yes,
And he was in Colorado for a big festival they were having there. And when I met him, he came walking up, and he had this white suit on. I mean, it looked white to me, but
yeah,
he literally says, "This whole suit that I'm wearing, shirt, underwear, jacket, hat, everything, even socks, were all him." So like, and I'm like, wow, you must really be into this stuff. But he was there to judge. They do this thing like a cannabis cup there in Colorado, and he was there to, you know, judge a lot of the stuff there. And that's how I mean, everybody, even if you're a non-smoker, or if you're nothing like that, it's just cool to go there, because when you go to, and you can meet so many different people. And Woody Harrelson, and he was so nice. He was so
yeah.
nice. I mean, he was just a really good guy. But
Well,
that's amazing.
I heard some great things about him as he was on set there. I mean, there's several people that I have worked with, you know, like Katherine Heigl. I was just a featured extra on that movie. I think it was Life as We Know It or something, whatever. But people were talking about her being a diva and all this, and I thought she was really pleasant and nice, and I never saw her being a diva. I don't know where they got that from because I just saw her as being a very nice, down to earth person with a good heart.
Well,
So
yeah, you know,
no, he's
I believe you put off energy. And I mean, if she's acting like a diva, then you might want to check yourself and how you're presenting yourself around that person.
and I have to agree. And I'm an empath, so I can
Me
feel
too.
other people's emotions and things like that. And um, even me on certain sets, I've asked people, "Hey, could somebody get me some water?" And I just pick up on this energy that they think I'm a diva, and it's like,
Mm,
right, that is far from the truth. But people when they don't like, if they're not particularly happy in their jobs or something, they're going to take everything that way that people's ordering them or ordering them around or doing something, and that's not necessarily the truth. Sometimes people are just they're in their zone trying to keep
yeah.
their lines down and all this kind of stuff. They got a million things going through their mind, so they don't so as actors we don't always know sometimes how we're coming across on set, because when we're working and we're trying to kind of stay in character and we're trying to make sure we've got our lines down, that's what our focus is on. We're focusing on work. So it we might not something might not come out as it should. Now, I'm not trying to take up for everybody, I'm just saying, like, for myself, I know that sometimes maybe when I say something that it might not come out, maybe like they feel like it should or something. But if they're not happy with themselves or happy about even working, or maybe they're just really tired because they've worked 16-hour days, because on The Walking Dead, I'd be there 16-hour days. So
Mm,
it can be a very, filming is very grueling. It can be
it is.
very tiresome and long.
Mm. Yeah.
So we
My
have a
wife and I.
question.
Go ahead.
Is that okay? It's from Angie actually. And she said, "What movie or show did you have the most fun filming?"
Uh, it was a little web series called The Lumber Baron of Jasper County, and I think you can watch it on YouTube. And I think he even took each season and put them into movies. I was in season 2 and season 3. I got to play a tomboy named
Saw
Sam,
it.
and we based that I helped develop the character and talk to the writer. I said, hey, listen, I want to do a character like Ralph from Green Acres. And so that's what the character was based on, was Ralph from Green Acres. And so I'd wear my cap around backwards, and sometimes I'd have overalls on. And I got to talk like this because my inner redneck was so important for this particular role that I got to talk like this all the time. And I got to tell my nephew, Cletus Jr., to put the shark down. And that was so much fun. And my brother's
You
name
tell
was
Cletus
Cletus.
to put that dang on their shirt down, boy. I'll spit you back in your eyeball.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it was a lot of fun because all I had to do was think about my family reunions, and I was able to really pull that out, and so that was my favorite. That is still my all-time favorite role, and it's a comedy. And my acting coach, who passed away, it'll be 3 years, I think in June. And also
Sorry.
later here, he passed away 3 years ago as well in June. They died 4 days away apart from each other. And
Wow.
but she stars in it, and she's ends up being the love interest of the lumber baron. But definitely go check that out. It's a funny series. It really is.
It's
There-
cute.
yeah, there was
It
a couple.
is.
There was a couple of seasons that kind of got a little crazy, and it was like, okay, but I mean, it got back on track. But it's a really good. It's got a lot of really good acting and stuff in it. So, it's a lot of local. It's all local actors, to Northeast Georgia, and it's a great series. I mean, I enjoy my dramatic roles as well. I did like playing the role in this not This Old Machine. That was with Kevin Sorbo that I did, which that was kind of a fun little role too that I did. Because I got to use this word. Every whisper is a scream in this town.
Every whisper, that southern lady, that's
Yep,
southern. Mm-hmm.
yep. Now in a movie I did with Nancy Tickleton from Law and Order. I had to arrest her, and I had to lock her up, and they let us do a
Oh,
little bit of
Ooh.
improv on that. But one of my favorite lines in that was, "Is it him or them?" And I'm pushing a picture of her kids in front of her. And then when I throw her into the cell, Sonia Fritz, she was the director. She's from Puerto Rico, and she looked at me. She says, "I want you to do a Georgia accent." And I laughed at. I didn't laugh at her. I just said, "Well, that's what I've been doing all day is a Georgia accent. I'm from here." And she goes, "No, no, no. I mean like a thicker." I said, "Okay, let me see. Do you
is
want
it
me to do
him
this?"
or them right there?
Well, I mean, I'd already done that. Well, see, that was fine. But what this next scene she wanted me to do when I threw her in the jail cell, she wanted me to use a Georgia accent. And I'd already done this all day. I'm a Georgia girl. And so I said, okay, I think I know what you want. I think you want a Savannah Southern. So I said,
Yes.
so I was like, enjoy your time. And so I threw
Yeah,
her in there, and that was exactly how she wanted me to say that. So I was like, enjoy your time. And I threw her in the jail cell, and I locked the door behind her. But that was fun.
that's it. Yeah,
That was
yeah.
Yeah, so that's exactly what she wanted. So that's why I did it in the movie, and that was on some cable networks for like 3 years. Um, but I had the funnest time because that was the old jail over in Duluth, Georgia, and it had the
Mm-hmm.
big keys.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
beforehand, I wanted to make sure I didn't mess up, so I was locking, unlocking, unlocking. And I was shutting the door, opening the door, shutting the door, opening, locking and unlocking, and that was a lot of fun. But once again, I didn't mean
That's
to
great.
steer off everything, but I started
No,
thinking
that's
about all
great.
these
That's
other
great.
roles, and I'm like, oh, and
My
this
wife,
was fun.
yeah, my Angie, the one that asked that question, that's my wife. She was sitting right
Mhm.
behind me, so she's in there. She's in there watching. She's into this. She was really looking forward to seeing you on here
Oh,
too. So
nice.
this is good. Now
Yeah.
you were
One
talking
of
about
our
the accents and
viewers is being funny, and he says, "Yeah, Gwen has that Southern talk." I do. I sure do.
yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
and that's what people say about me too, because I'm from the low country. I'm from I'm from the Sea Islands. I live near Beaufort, South Carolina, around Hilton
Oh,
Head. You
I used
know,
to live in Hilton Head.
there you go. I went to high school
Yeah, I
there,
lived in
so I
Hilton Head
mean,
when I went to college.
hmm I've got
Uh,
and I've got a. Some people tell me that I have like a southern kind of like Louisiana accent,
Maybe
and
a little
I
bit,
don't
but
see it.
when I
I don't see it.
I went to I went to college in Hilton Head Island, and it was an art college down there, and I ended up going belly up. But I had a friend. I worked at the Walmart down there on Hilton Head Island. That was back in
Yep.
'89. Yeah, '88, '89, somewhere right in there. And one of my friend Jennifer Topsick, she lived over in Beaufort, and
Mm,
so when the storms would come sometimes and they closed the island, the bridge down to the island, sometimes I would go to her house and stay with her family over in Beaufort. And I saw
yeah.
Beaufort. It's a beautiful place and so close to the military base there and stuff.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
literally 2 minutes from the base.
okay, cool, cool. That's awesome. It's beautiful down there. It's been years since I've been there. I went to Hilton Head. My daughter and granddaughter and my mom went to Hilton Head about 2 or 3 years ago, and that's the first time I'd been there in like forever, and I couldn't believe how grown up it's gotten. Because when
Yeah.
I was there
So
was
much
just
to see.
very little.
Yep. Yep. I remember that. I remember because I graduated high school in '95. I was born in '77. I'm 47 years old. So when I lived in Bluffton, I was a native of Bluffton. They called us the B Town Boys. So
Yeah,
we went to elementary school on Hilton Head Island. We went to middle school in Bluffton, and then we went back to Hilton Head Island for high school.
okay,
It was crazy then. It was crazy because then we dealt with like the preppy rich kids from Hilton Head, and there were a lot that went to our high school. But then we'd always rival against Hilton Head Preparatory School. You want to talk about I mean, like some of these kids, their first cars, man, they get like $100,000 Mercedes, and it's
yeah.
ridiculous. And here I am, my first car driving an '82 Subaru hatchback.
That's not bad though. There's not, the Subaru. I mean, that's
That's a
pretty
good car.
classy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
but
a good one. I mean,
this was a khaki color. It was ugly. It sat up like this. It sat up. But I tell you this, that thing got 49 miles to the gallon.
that's awesome.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
there was this one guy named Thomas that was in school with me that had a Porsche. So, we dealt with the rich kids and stuff there too,
Hmm.
but it was a Stratford College is art college is what it was. And
Mm.
so um we were in one of the condos on the beach there. That's where they housed us and put us up and everything. So when I lived down there, so that was pretty nice. Um,
So,
but
so
it was a
we're
cool place back then. There was probably nothing. Going onto the island, you drove for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and saw nothing until you got to that bridge. And now
mhm.
it's like there's like so much. I just couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. It's
And
crazy.
and over there on the island, between the Cross Island Parkway, that's really helped out a lot because that can literally take you from the backside of Bluffton all the way across to the south end, which usually would have took you 45 minutes to get on that island and go. But I'll tell you, timeshares have completely took over that
Wow.
island. Between
Yeah.
I mean, and I can't believe that it's like that because Hilton Head was like that slow down tropical kind of place that you go to, and it's not
Yep.
like that anymore. And I
No,
mean,
it's
you got
not.
people from up north going and buying up a bunch of property, and even in Bluffton, we have a sandbar that comes up in the middle of the river for 8 hours a day, and us locals, that was our beach. Like on the weekends, our parents would get together, get everybody in the boat, go to the sandbar, and it came up and they were lined up around there. They started going to Hilton Head and telling everybody about that. And next thing you know, you got a bunch of these non-locals coming
Mhm.
out, leaving, bringing their boats out there. And my dad doesn't
Yeah.
even go out there anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm going, it's kind of like Tybee Island, it's gotten so, gosh, man, it's like everybody's going there now. I mean, they're charging the park there. They're
Yep.
charging, I'll be going there in May. I got some friends. We do a trip every May down the hill down to Tybee Island, and so it's kind of the same thing. I mean, there's just so many people there. There's timeshares, there's condos, there's stuff all over the place. They're charging people to park down there. It's ridiculous. And
And a lot of
You know,
people don't know, and they get the big fines because they don't know.
yeah,
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 the parking and stuff like that. Like some people don't know about that pay and park thing, and then they come back and there's a big ticket for their car, or their
hmm
car's towed or something like that. And I
yeah,
mean, and Hilton Head has made it to where, you'll never see a sign. You know how they got billboards going up? Well,
hmm
they
yeah,
boycotted billboards for the entire island.
yeah. I
So
believe it.
you're not allowed to put them above the trees or anything like
Yeah,
that. They want them to, and it's funny because Walt Disney back in the day, Walt Disney flew his plane over and came through, and he flew his plane over, and he said, because they were talking about him buying, land on the island, and he goes, it's all marsh. He goes, it'll never go anywhere.
yeah. Surprise. Yeah, because back when
Mm-hmm.
I was there, they wouldn't. The only signs that could be used were they had to blend
Mhm.
with the trees, with the wood. So, like for Walmart, it was on a wooden, it was wooden with the words across it in dark brown or whatever, to get to Walmart. And,
Yes.
everything had to be like that, and everything had to be it was very conservative with
Hmm.
everything because they were trying to keep it all natural and keep that whole island, preservation thing going. So I was really surprised when I saw the way it was. But, anyways,
Yeah, it is. It is. And like my dad, he does lawn care, and he used to hate it because like every single year, he carries a truck with tanks on the back of it, and he goes and he makes people's grass look amazing. And he's got contracts. Like he'll go into one of the plantations and he'll do one person's yard, and just by word of mouth, my dad has never put any kind of like promotion thing out there, and
hmm
nothing. He's gotten all his business word of mouth, and just people like when in those plantations, when one person's yard gets good, the neighbor sees it, then that neighbor calls, then that, and then before you know it, he's got an entire street in that
that's
plantation.
awesome.
But
That's the way to
he
do
used
it.
to
That's the way I do my
yeah.
business. I do by referrals.
And I think that's better right there, because people get to know you more on a personal level instead of seeing you like on TV or anything like that. I mean, he's gotten a lot of his business like that. And but what he hated
Yeah.
is when you go into these plantations, like an average
hmm
person, if you drive up to the gate, the cheapest that you're going to get to, the cheapest is $15 just to enter the gate. Some of them, like
It's crazy.
Hilton Head Plantation, Sea Pines, $25 to get in.
Wow. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and
That is
and
just
my
crazy.
dad, and he says, he goes, Hilton Head, the only place where you have to pay to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
He had to
it's
get,
ridiculous how
yeah,
things have gotten.
it is, it definitely
Even in
is.
Atlanta, it's like in Atlanta when I do the Days of the Dead convention now. Guess what? You can't park at the hotel anymore unless you want valet, and that's like $30 a day. And then if you leave, you got to pay it again when you come back. And to
Why can't
park,
you park
but
at the
yeah,
hotel?
to park across the street in the parking deck over there is like $20 a day or something. And
Even when you're
it's like so
staying
when I
there?
go and do these conventions, huh?
Even when
Yeah,
you're
even if you're
staying there?
staying there, even if you're staying there, yeah,
Good
even if
grief.
you're staying there, you still got to pay for parking or valet. That it's not included. And what I've been doing instead of staying there, I've just been staying with a friend and driving in each day. And they're not covering my parking, and I'm like, dude, but there's a lot of places that won't cover your parking when you do things, but some places do. But yeah, it's crazy how much people charge for parking nowadays in all sorts of things. But anyway, I didn't mean to get off on the whole parking thing, but it's
No,
just
no,
I
it's
just
a
don't
it's a
think
lu-
that
that's a
much
lucrative
is
business.
spent.
I
Yeah.
mean, they
It is.
valet and stuff like that. Any way that they can make a dollar, they're gonna do it, even if it's like expensive of people. And I think if you own a hotel, then the parking for that hotel should be accessible to the people that are staying in that hotel.
Of course.
It should. It should. You should get you should get a free parking voucher that
Hmm.
you can use to
Mhm.
park, at the hotel, because you're already paying to be there, and you're paying downtown Atlanta. You're paying top dollar to stay in those hotels. It's not cheap.
Exactly. And I
So,
mean, what if you're staying a week
they
at a
really need
time?
to consider that.
They
I
do.
mean, you think about that. You think if that's $30, for you to park. I mean, for that week that you're staying is 200 something dollars
Yeah, yeah. So
for
I
parking.
try not to
Mm.
stay. If I'm staying downtown, sometimes I'll go park at a MARTA station, and it's like $8 a day, and I ride MARTA in. But it's just I try not to do that either because I don't like to ride MARTA. So yeah.
Mm. Now with your acting and all that, you were talking about your daughter and things like that. Now, is she actively doing things like you are too?
When she was here in the States, we've been in about 9 or 10 movies together. We were in Road Trip 2 together.
Awesome.
She was actually on The Walking Dead as well, season 2. She got shot at the barn by Daryl, and she was a
Mm.
main hero zombie as well. And she is a professional dancer. That's not what she does for a living, but she lives in the Netherlands, and she's with a dance troupe there. And
Awesome.
she also she used to be with the Berry College dance troupe up in Northwest Georgia. And she did on Drop Dead Diva, the TV show, she was a background dancer for Paula Abdul. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so she's done some really cool stuff. But we were in band Wilder freshman year together. Um, we were in the Blind Side together. She
Ooh,
got to sit next to Kathy Bates, and which I talked to Kathy Bates several times on set and stuff. And Tim McGraw talked to me a few times and talked to her too. Um, really great people. Um, but and I was just featured extra on that. That's been way, way longer. I haven't done extra work in like 15 years. Unless somebody says, "Hey, I need you to sit in on this," like on it's a Supernatural. Sid Roth's at Supernatural. It's a Christian TV series that I did
Hmm.
a couple episodes on that. And there was one time they're like, a couple times they're like, "Hey, we just need somebody we just need to see the back of your head in this." Okay, I go sit in or whatever. But that's really about the gist of any background work that I've done. I just haven't done that in like 15 years. So my agent's like, "Hey, if you want the bigger roles, then you can't go and do this background work, because if you do that, then it can knock you out for doing, getting the big
Mm.
roles." And
Really?
so yeah, because I mean, if you're already seen and then you get an audition, well, guess what? You're not going to get the role because you've already been seen in the show.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so you don't want to do that. So, and I'd rather have the speaking roles anyway, but I did enjoy my time as a background actor when I did it. It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of great friends, a lot of good people, made a lot of great connections. Um,
Hmm.
but I do enjoy getting the auditions and getting the roles and working. You know,
Now, how does that
I'm very
process go?
passionate. Excuse me.
How does that process go? Like, so say you go, you audition, they give you a script, right? And then you're supposed to work on that. I mean, how do you? So, do you start working on the script even before you know if you got the role?
What happens is my agent. I've got an agent in LA, and then I've also got an agent in Dothan, Alabama. I've been with her for 17 years. Um, and I've had several agents in Atlanta and different places over the years. But um, they get me the audition. They send me the
Hmm.
lines for that particular scene that I'm auditioning for. It could be 2 paragraphs. It could be 2 lines. It could be no lines. It could be just them wanting to see you. It just depends on if they just want you to do an action or whatever. Um, and you get those lines down. You do your audition, and then if you get a call back, then they may want you to do another kind of like another audition, or they may want to see you one on one like we're doing right now, where they do a Zoom meeting and talk to you, and they
right.
may want you to change up, maybe see you do it a different way or whatever. Or like on the
Mm.
teacup thing, I had first refusal, which means that they chose me first, but they had a backup. So if I refused, then they would go with the other person. Well, I
Oh,
didn't
so you
refuse.
can choose. You can choose to either take it or not, even if you're.
Sometimes, yes, yes. I
Mm.
mean, so if there's a conflict or something, I mean, let's just say I auditioned for two roles. I've got the other one now. The other one called, and I've just told this one yes. So then I may have to turn down that role because it's going to be filming the same time as this other one.
Mm.
The cool thing, like on Teacup, I got the audition on a Tuesday. On the Wednesday, I got first refusal. On the Thursday, I got the job, and then I was filming that Saturday. So it was just that quick. I love the quick turnarounds like that. And so you know, you just don't ever know how what they're thinking or how they work. But I thought that was pretty cool with NBC. I loved working with NBC Peacock. They were really amazing to work with. Great production company.
I love Peacock. I love Peacock. We're big wrestling fans, and I've been watching wrestling since I was like 5 years old. And so you get all the pay-per-views all over Peacock. So, but I love Peacock, and I mean, and what shows did you say you were on Peacock? So we can look that up because we do have that.
Well, Teacup, I did a promo for it, but I don't have Peacock, so I don't know if the promo ever showed or not. It was like a promotional promo for one of the episodes.
Mm,
And but I was not actually in the TV series. I was just in a promo for it. I
okay.
know that sounds weird, but I was still a part of it, so I'm hoping maybe they'll call me back for maybe a bigger role on it.
Yeah. How would they
It's been
have you
pretty.
as a promo if you weren't going to be?
Well, they
I
sometimes
mean, it
shows
seems
do
like that's kind
this.
of.
Sometimes shows want to
Oh,
put
really?
together a little promo reel to try to. Even on The Walking Dead, they took some of my stuff and used it as a promo reel, and it was never used in the show. Now,
Mm,
granted, I was in the show, but we did some promo stuff that showed like at Comic Cons and different things and all that. And it's just another way of advertising. And sometimes if
mm.
they don't have the material that they want from the show, they'll throw something together and they'll do the promo to help advertise it.
So with it, say you're doing a scene or whatnot, how many times do you guys usually go over if you're going over one scene? Like, how long realistically would that take? I mean, because they make it look like it's so easy and stuff like that, and I know it's not. My wife and I filmed the show because I work paranormal cases.
Hmm.
I'm licensed and ordained. I'm a pastor.
Hmm.
And so I do clearing and cleansings. And one of my cases that I did got picked for my haunted hometown. And we went in one day and we filmed, and it was just they filmed my wife and I, and and all we were doing was talking,
Yeah.
and they wanted to redo the same thing like 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow. I said, I can't imagine like if you had this big that you had to do. So how's it go with you?
Well, I try to not go over 3 to 4 times with things because with takes. So, but they've got to get it from this angle, got to get it from this angle. They got to get it long angle. When they're doing close up, if there's two people in the scene, they got to do a close up of this person, and they got to do a close up of this person. So, a lot of times you've got to do that. But I try not to each take. I try to get it in 3 to 5, not over 5. Um,
Oh, okay.
usually, if somebody has to go over 5, then either the director ever wants something different to choose from,
Mhm.
or somebody just messes up a lot. But
Oh, oh yeah.
sometimes it can be a lighting issue. Sometimes it can be this. But now, granted, you're still doing it more than that. You're still saying your lines more than just that 3 to 5. Because when you're doing it this way, you got to do it. Then when it's doing this way, you got to do it. But if you're doing 8 takes this way, 8 takes this way, 8 takes this way, then that's a lot of. It takes a long time. So doing it in 3 to 5 takes each direction, or sometimes you can do it in 1 or 2 takes and be done with it. Um,
Yeah, the director told us they were like, just be yourself.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, yeah, this won't take anything. And then Angie and I were being ourselves. We were doing everything, and then he was like, well, can you say this? Can you change this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not me though,
Yeah.
But I get it. I get it. You're trying to make a good show.
Yeah. And I wasn't meaning, I wasn't throwing any punches at you for doing it 8 times. I was just
Oh
meaning
no,
that,
I think it's funny that it happened. I think it was great, and I'm like, I'm glad. And Angie and I left there that day, and we were
uh-huh.
like, man, I am really glad we don't have to do that on a regular basis.
Yeah, because I mean it is hard. But with you guys not used to doing that and stuff, I mean, I don't think that was bad, 7 or 8 takes. I think that's pretty
Mhm.
good because he was able to get you to change things. And when the director's like, "Hey, let's do it this way and this way," I mean, that's good. That's really good.
Hmm.
And um, so especially when you're working with people that's not maybe used to doing that and stuff, so that
Hmm.
they've got it. If they're trying to get you to relax, some people are like this, like all stressed out and tense stuff, and you can't get. You got to find a way to. You just about want to say, "Here's a beer," chill out, just calm down, But when you're nervous, and I get nervous every time I'm on set, I get nervous. I'm like, oh my god, I got to do this right. Oh my god, I got this. I hope I don't forget my lines. So many things is
Hmm.
going through my mind when I'm doing things. But I have been on
Hmm.
set where this one girl, um, every time it was time for her to speak, she didn't speak. And we ended up having to do that like 12 times just from that one
Oh no.
direction because and she did that every single time. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to be here forever. We're never going to get this done. I mean, it was so difficult to, because everybody else was getting it right. It was just this one person. And that was
Yeah,
very frustrating. Very, very
yeah,
frustrating.
yeah. I felt bad for my client. He's
Shane,
a good friend of mine. Huh?
5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I felt bad for my client. I felt bad because he filmed for 2 days before we got there, and they literally started in the morning and they worked tonight. By the time I got there, his wife was so aggravated about people being in her house and stuff like
Yeah,
that long.
I'm sure.
And I was like, oh gosh, it's such an uncomfortable feeling. But
Yeah.
I really commend that you do that, and I'm really impressed that you do it. And I want to thank you so much for coming on, and just telling everybody a little bit about yourself. And I'm sure this is going to get more and more people to watch and look for you. We're
Yes.
going to turn on The Walking Dead. I'm going to look for you. I'm gonna see you on there. But I really appreciate you coming on and sharing some of your passion and what you do with us. And I really appreciate that.
Well, I thank you for having me on. I really do. It's been great. I've really enjoyed it. So maybe we can do it again sometime. It seems like we got some
Abs-
more we can talk about. So
Most definitely.
Absolutely. I definitely would love to have you. Like I said, I'm on Mondays there. I'm sure Gwen, she can set everything up too. It's
Yep.
been really good. And I try to make all my shows as organic and natural as possible. I don't have any set questions or anything like that. So I mean, you could just see the conversations, they just flow naturally. And I think it works better like that.
it
It
does.
does.
I agree. I like it when it does it. It makes everybody more comfortable too. So
It
Yes,
does.
man.
Well, Sonia, I'm
But
gonna put
once
you
you
back.
tell
If
every,
you hold
once you
on a
tell,
minute,
yeah,
just hold
but,
on to
but,
just a
but
second. Yeah, yeah, do it.
yeah, tell everybody how to get a hold of you, Miss Sonia.
on Facebook, I've got a fan page. It's Sonya Thompson, and I got a zombie picture there. It's also Sonya Thompson actress. I'm on Instagram, Red Sonya Thompson, and I'm on TikTok as well. But that's professionalzombie.com is my website. I haven't updated it in like 4 years. I need to do that. So, but if you go over there, it may be wrong. There's, but I will update it at some point. So,
All right, Miss Sonia, thank you so very much. Okay, and
thank
it was
you.
so good
Thank
meeting
you.
you, and glad to have you on.
Yes,
If you'll
thank you
hang
so
on a
much. Nice
minute, I'm
meeting
gonna
you.
put you in the back. Just hang on a
Okay.
second with us.
All
All
right.
right. She is
Well,
so
guys,
cool. She's
yeah,
so cool.
she's great, and she's so down to earth, and that's what I love. I love having these conversations, especially like that. Because I mean, for her to be on a show like that, to do that, it's very impressive. Because you get some of these actresses that are they're like I said, hot headed or above their role, whatever they are. And she's so down to earth. I mean, she's so easy to talk to. And but y'all go check out her page, okay? And I appreciate all you guys for watching. I appreciate you coming on. And we got another good one next week. So y'all stay tuned, okay? And
Yeah.
stay safe, be blessed always, and stay spooky, people. Peace.